Oh honey, when I tell you the chaos bubbling in Montecito this week could melt steel, I mean it. You won't believe what Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have managed to ignite this time. They've tangled themselves in a full-blown billionaire showdown, and the woman they crossed? None other than Victoria Jackson, the self-made cosmetics queen, real estate powerhouse, and a woman so rich she probably forgets half the assets under her name. And yet, even with all her billions, nothing could have prepared her for the storm Meghan and Harry unleashed in her world. It began so innocently. Victoria, focused on her glittering empire, decided to lend her private jet to her friends. A kind gesture, right? She probably thought, what harm could there be in helping these royals who can't seem to go a week without a scandal? Well, darling, that generosity spiraled into a lawsuit faster than you can whisper, "Return my plane." Because when Meghan borrows something, it rarely comes back on time, and sometimes, insiders hint, it doesn't return at all. Victoria is the kind of woman who buys a jet on Tuesday and forgets it by Friday. Her homes are scattered across America like monopoly properties: Beverly Hills, New York, Montecito. She's practically royalty in comfort. And she had always been kind to Meghan and Harry, always. When they fled the royal drama and arrived in California, she was one of the few who opened her doors, saying, "Stay as long as you need." And oh, did they take that literally? Those two were in her New York brownstone more often than the mailman. Blink once? There they were, dining, lounging, snapping selfies. At first, it was smiles and gracious thank yous, until the private jet entered the equation. That jet was supposed to be borrowed for a few days, maybe a quick trip, but according to insiders, Meghan and Harry treated it like a permanent lifestyle upgrade. Not a loan, not a favor, a permanent Victoria expected it back on Tuesday. Tuesday passed. No plane, no message. Just radio silence and Meghan posting glam shots online like she'd reinvented luxury travel. Victoria was seething. Imagine lending something worth millions and the borrowers treating it like theirs. The sting cuts deep. When Victoria finally called to ask what was happening, Meghan reportedly responded with a sharp, dismissive tone that could make a saint curse. That was the breaking point. You don't test a billionaire's patience. Victoria Jackson didn't build her empire by letting freeloaders run wild. She's battled ruthless industries, dodged legal predators, and survived boardroom wars most of us wouldn't last a minute in. So when Meghan's sweet words turned to silence, and Harry just stood there blinking like he'd lost track of time, Victoria transformed from generous friend to billionaire on a mission. Lawyers were called. Papers were filed. The friendship was over before Meghan could even upload another behind-the-scenes clip. And listen, this isn't the first time we've seen this pattern. There's always a spark, a connection, a friendship that begins beautiful and somehow ends in regret and scorched earth. Meghan charms with that polished smile, that soft-spoken voice, that I'm misunderstood aura, but once she feels at home, the favors start stacking up. And when those favors become expectations, she acts shocked when people ask for respect or accountability. Victoria isn't new to Hollywood drama. But this was personal. Not just about a plane. It was about principle. Gratitude denied. Audacity unchecked. Entitlement unmasked. She told a close friend, "I lent them luxury, and they returned chaos." You could almost feel her fury vibrating through the marble floors of her Beverly Hills mansion. And the internet, darling, hasn't even caught up yet. When this story hits social media in full force, it's going to explode. People devour a Meghan and Harry scandal. It's the gift that never stops giving. From royal exits to lawsuits to podcast mishaps, they can't escape drama. It clings to them like glitter at a drag show. And let's not forget, Victoria wasn't just another Hollywood acquaintance. She treated Meghan and Harry like family. She offered shelter, privacy, comfort. Money can buy things, yes, but friendship? That's priceless. And what did she get in return? Stress, disrespect, a reminder that generosity, no matter how vast, has its limits. She's not just suing for a plane. She's suing for her dignity. Because, darling, it takes something monumental for a billionaire to step down from her throne and say, enough is enough. Usually, they just cut ties quietly and move on. But Victoria wanted the world to see. This is not how friends behave. And she's not alone. Oh no. Hollywood whispers that Victoria's story isn't unique. There's a quiet list. People who once adored Meghan and Harry, who rolled out red carpets, who believed they had genuine allies. Slowly, one by one, they all stepped away. Producers, publicists, even a few royals. The story repeats. They give, Meghan takes. Boundaries blur, and then everything collapses. Hollywood remembers when Meghan and Harry first arrived. The buzz was unreal. Everyone wanted a seat at their table. Dinner invitations, charity galas, TV deals, it was the hottest ticket in town. But Hollywood isn't fooled for long. Facades crumble fast, and soon people notice the cracks, the constant victim act, the shifting stories, the way every friendship seemed destined to end in tension. Whispers began circulating. They're dazzling at first, but draining later. And not from critics, not from tabloids, from the people who genuinely tried to help them. And when billionaires like Victoria Jackson start locking their doors, others quickly follow. In Hollywood's elite circles, reputation is everything. When one wealthy friend sues, a dozen others stop picking up calls. Victoria's brownstone, by the way, is legendary. That's where Meghan and Harry stayed during that infamous car chase in New York, the one the world rolled its eyes at. The house has a glass elevator, rich oak finishes, chandeliers bright enough to blind. And yet Meghan reportedly treated it like a luxury hotel suite with late checkout. Picture that level of disregard. You can almost hear Victoria muttering, "Never again." And the wild part? Victoria tried to keep this quiet. She didn't want to humiliate them. She gave chance after chance. But once Meghan brushed off her concerns like lint on a designer dress, that was it. Victoria's lawyers are now handling everything. The smiles are gone. The doors are shut. And the jet? Probably somewhere wishing it could speak. And let's be honest, Meghan and Harry's friendship track record hasn't exactly been flawless. Even back in their royal days, murmurs of tension circulated, staff bending over backwards to protect them, only to feel slighted later. People who publicly defended them quietly stepped away. And that silence? It speaks louder than any interview ever could. Now here we are. Another friendship reduced to ashes. Another scandal feeding the headlines. Victoria's story has already reached elite circles, reshaping perceptions of Meghan and Harry. The question whispered at glamorous dinner tables isn't what happened anymore, it's who's next. Because when one powerful woman takes a stand, the rest are watching. They begin testing their limits, their generosity, their trust. And in Hollywood, trust is worth more than gold. Once it's broken, good luck reclaiming it. Victoria's patience was her luxury, and Meghan spent it recklessly. You can almost picture Victoria now in her Montecito mansion, perfectly composed, sipping tea, that little smirk saying, "They challenged the wrong woman." Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry are likely scrambling, trying to spin the story, dropping hints it's all misunderstood or exaggerated. But the truth, the pattern, is all too familiar. Every fallout is met with feigned shock. Every time a friend walks away, they play the victim. But the world is waking up. Victoria Jackson's lawsuit isn't just about a jet. It's a warning shot. A billionaire's patience has limits. You can charm your way through only so many favors before someone finally snaps. And when someone like Victoria snaps, it isn't subtle. It's legal. It's thunderous. It's final. She's the first to take a public stand. But she won't be the last. You can bet your pearls on that. Because behind those polite smiles at Beverly Hills dinner parties, more voices are whispering, "Maybe I should have listened when the others warned me. This all feels so familiar." Another friendship turns to dust. Another headline reads like a soap opera twist. Meghan and Harry's story keeps looping. Glitz, glamour, chaos, fallout, repeat. It's almost predictable now, and that's the tragedy. There was a time people believed they were misunderstood, that they were escaping a toxic system to build something better. But when everyone around you keeps walking away, maybe it's time to face the mirror. Victoria Jackson didn't just lose a jet, she lost trust. And in that world, trust is priceless. The same woman who once welcomed them like family now can't even hear their names without a sigh. She's done. She's moved on. And mark my words, she's setting the tone for what comes next. Once the powerful begin closing their gates, the fall from grace gets lonely fast. Meghan and Harry? They might just learn that lesson the hard way. Oh, darling, the story didn't stop there. Oh no. It erupted into a spectacle loud enough to make Hollywood gasp. Because when Victoria finally decided she'd had enough of Meghan's borrow now, apologize never attitude, she didn't go quietly. She summoned her lawyers, tightened her diamonds, and said, "Let's show these two exactly what boundaries look like." And from that moment, the air over Montecito turned colder than a royal wave. You could practically feel Meghan's charm fading. That smile that once melted billionaires suddenly didn't work anymore. Calls went unanswered. Invitations vanished. And that inner circle she once clung to? Poof, gone like morning mist. People who once called her darling now check with assistants before even answering her calls. Because, darling, no one wants to be next on the list of people who gave too much and got scorched in return. And the irony? Meghan is always preaching empowerment, sisterhood, lifting other women. Yet here she was, turning one of the most successful self-made women in America into her courtroom adversary. Victoria built her empire with grit, sweat, and brains. She wasn't born into privilege. She fought her way to the top. So seeing her generosity taken for granted hit differently. It wasn't just about assets or money, it was a betrayal of principles. Those close to Victoria say the lawsuit isn't even about the cash. She could buy 100 jets tomorrow if she wanted. It's about respect. About drawing a line even the Duchess of Sussex can't cross. They may have titles, one insider whispered, but Victoria has principles and a legal team that never misses. Meanwhile, the public sympathy Meghan once commanded like a masterful performance is fading. The tabloids aren't painting her as the victim this time. No, now the world sees her stumble, realizing maybe the problem isn't everyone else. Because when every friend, every ally, every wealthy connection gradually slips away, you have to wonder, maybe it's not bad luck, maybe it's a pattern. And Victoria? She's radiant, darling, gliding through her marble halls with that calm, deliberate stride, telling people, I wish them well, but I'm done. And when a billionaire says she's done, honey, that means she's erased you from her universe completely. Meghan and Harry may still dream of palaces in memory, but in reality, the gates are closing, and this time, they're not opening again.